Good evening, everyone.
I'm your host, Dr. Ruby Gill, and I'm honored to welcome you all on the behalf of lovely professional university. Attendees, I know you might be wondering the reason of gathering virtually. So let me reveal the reason and tell you something about today's webinar. We are going to have an incredible session with our expert today, as he is going to tell us all about how to become a star mobile game designer. So I'm sure you're as excited as I am for today's learning process, so kindly allow me to introduce the expert of the day. Mr. Sukanta Ghosh, Assistant Professor, School of Computer Applications, Lovely Professional University. A young and dynamic professional with an experience of more than 8 years as an academician and over 5 years in game development sector as well. Currently, he is pursuing his doctorate in machine learning, and to his credit, he is mentor of change, Atal Innovations, Niti Aayog, and projects under Government of India. He has published numerous research articles on renowned journals on game development, and his expertise lies in implementation of metaverse using AR, VR, and game development as well. So, sir, it's a privilege to have you on board with us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, ma'am, for the introduction. So, good evening, everyone. So, today we are going to discuss about how to pursue the game development industry. So, we will see that what are the prerequisites which are required, and we will also create a small project in Unity game engine. So, let's start with the webinar. So, the agenda will be very clear. We will be understanding the game development process, and then we will understand what is basically a game engine. Then we are going to design and develop a rollerball game, which is a very popular game in Unity. Unity is a game engine. So when we talk about the minimum, the system requirement to install, or the system requirement to install Unity on your system, first of all, you should have at least Windows XP Service Pack 1, or it can be also installed on Windows 8. If you are having Windows 10 also, it is working, and even with Windows 11 also it is working. If you're using a Mac operating system, you should have a configuration of at least 10.12 or more. For Linux, you can use Ubuntu 16.04, or you can use 18.04, or even you can use the CentOS, and you can also install this on different servers also. The minimum CPU configuration for this will be an i3 4th generation or above, but the recommended is you should have an AMD or an Intel processor with at least 3 cores and 12 threads. Then if we talk about the RAM configuration, we should have the minimum RAM configuration of 4 GB. The recommended is 16 GB. And if we talk about GPU, our Unity game engine can work with a minimum of a simple graphic card, which is available on everybody's system, that is an integrated graphics. But if it is recommended that you should use a NVIDIA GPU. The NVIDIA GPU can be an RTX 3060, or it can be AMD RX 6600. Then if you talk about the storage, we should have a minimum of 10 GB hard disk. The recommended is SSD. We should have a minimum of 256 GB SSD and a 1 TB hard disk for the project. Now this will be our output. Our expected output will be a rollerball game in which there will be a ball, and we are going to collect different points which are available on the screen. Then if we talk about the game development process, the game development process is pretty much simple. You have to first of all think of a game idea. The game idea is very important, because most of the games are failing because they have a very bad game idea. Now this game idea can come from anywhere. It can be a part of a movie, it can be a part of a book, it can be your own creation, it can be a day-to-day activity. You can see a lot of things, and then you can just create a game out of it. Let me share a very simple story for it. So there was a guy, he started looking into the life of ants. We have seen that how the ants are moving from one place to another, carrying a lot of eatable items with them. According to their weight, they are carrying a lot of eatable items, and how they are organizing themselves, how they are working, who is the queen ant. So he actually observed the life of an ant. We created a game known as Life of Ant by Stephen Warman. He created a very wonderful game. The name of the game is The Life of an Ant. So you can have the game idea from anywhere of the world. You can just pick up any topic, whatever you like. You can just pick up a story out of it. And if you have the story out of it, definitely you can create a game out of it. Then if your story is ready, you have to create a script. When you are creating any script, it is very important that you should keep in mind what will be your different characters, what will be your different weapons, what will be your different assets which you are going to use. Assets here refer to everything. If we talk about image, a video, or if we are talking about a sound play, or if we are talking about any animation, any model, so all those things comes under the assets. So you should have a collection of assets. You should have a story behind it, and definitely you are going to develop a game out of it. And then it's the part of the designing. Designing means you have to arrange the assets according to a plan. Now here, for example, if we are taking the game from the ant story, so you have to arrange the world of an ant. You have to create the world of an ant. This can be an infinite, or this can be a level-wise level. You can create multiple levels out of it. So the assets which you are having, you will simply arranging them so that you can get a design of a game. And when your design is ready, you are working with a development. Development means you are just making your design work. Now this can be worked using different languages, programming languages, like we have C# or Unity. If you are working with Unreal Game Engine, then you can work with a C++, or there is something known as a blueprint. When your development and designing part is done, you are ready with your game. It is very important to test the game, because in gaming we have lots of bugs. Remember, in gaming we have lots of bugs. Why these bugs are there? The reason is we are creating a whole new world, a whole new experience. Now with this all new experiences, definitely there will be certain bad experiences also. So those bad experiences are my word. So these bugs need to be removed, and this can be removed during the testing phase. So there is something known as alpha testing, and there is something known as a beta testing. Alpha testing is something when the developers are testing their system, or there is a team of testers who are testing the system. When this is ready, when the whole development team, they are satisfied with their work, they release this game on a very small platform in a testing basis, and this is known as a beta test. Beta test is basically the tests which are done by the stakeholders. Stakeholders means those people who are associated with it. It can be a gamer, it can be a production company, it can be anything. It can be a normal user also. So everybody will play the game. After playing the game, they will be definitely sharing their feedback with the game, and during this phase, a lot of bugs are removed. So at the end, you get a very clean game which is playable, and then ultimately that game is launched into the market. Now, when we talk about game engine, so game engine is basically a collection of everything. To develop a game, what you need someone who can write a story. You need someone who can develop the script. You want someone who can design the things. You want someone who can create the models. You want a sound engineer. You want a coding area where everybody is going to code. So all these people, they can work together, or they can work simultaneously on a different platform. So all those platforms are collected together, and that is named as a game engine. So basically we have Unity Game Engine, Unreal Game Engine, Game Maker, Cygen, Tor, Godot. There are lots of game engine which are available into the market nowadays, and you can start with Unity, you can start with Unreal, or you can start with Game Maker, you can start with Godot. So you can start with any of the game engine. Today we will be talking about the Unity Game Engine, because Unity is one of the easiest. It's the easiest game engine which you have ever seen, because the things are pretty much simple. You just need to have the basic programming knowledge of C#, and with that you can just start developing the game. Now for rollerball game, we are going to install the Unity, and then we are going to design a rollerball game, and then we are going to develop the rollerball game, means we are going to code for that game, and then we are going to add some features into it which will be very wonderful to see. So let's go into the actual part. So if you want to install Unity, you can just simply type Unity Engine. So here you will get a link to download Unity. So the moment you are going to click on download Unity, this will give you two options: download for Windows or download for other versions. So you can, like, if you are having a Windows operating system, you can use this. If you want for others, you can just click on this. And for this, there will be different setups. So download for Windows, Mac, Linux, so it is up to you. So we will download for Windows. So here you can see something started, Unity Hub setup. So I will not install it, I have already installed. So when this setup is downloaded, you can just simply open this setup and you can simply next go can work here. And the moment you install it correctly, you will get this kind of window. So in this kind of window, you can see there are certain options: project, install, learn, community. So we are going to have our focus on the install. So here you can see I have installed something that is 2023-14 F1. This is one of the version of Unity. So you can just simply there are certain release. You can just click on these official release. It is there. It is not showing. So you can click on install editor and then you will get a lot of options. So we have 2021, 2023.40 F1, 2019. Okay, another version. So you can just choose any one of the version, whatever you feel like. There are certain pre-release versions which are also there. So it is better that you should work with LTS. LTS means long-term support. It means if you use this version, it will be giving you a long-term support. And then you will just simply install it. And when it will be getting installed, you will get this kind of window. When your installation is complete, you can go to projects. Then you can click on new project. The moment you click on new project, it will be showing you a lot of different templates. Here you can see 2D, 3D, okay, VR, 4, third person, first person. So all those options will be available in front of you. These all are template. You can just start with a simple template. So our main focus will be on 3D. So we are going to click this 3D code. So I'm just going back with this. Then when you click this new project, you will just simply click on next and new project will be ready for you. Like for example, I've already created a project, rollerball project. So I will be opening that. So when you click on this, if you already have created any project, you will just simply click on it. All those projects which you are going to develop, they will be visible here. And this is something which we are having. So you can see right now here, I've already created for you. Don't worry, we will do this from scratch. So this is a game. So here you can see the score is also going on. And when you touch the red one, the score is getting negative. So you can see. And when you collect, you have to make the game in such a way that it is not so easy to play and not so difficult to play. Because if the game is very easy to play, then there will be no fun in that game. And if the game is very difficult to play, then also in that case. So the moment your score is more than 15, you will get a message that you won the game. So let's create this game. So I'm going to show you that how you will create this all these platforms. So for that, I'm taking a new scene. So you'll click on assets, create new scene. But if you are creating it for the first time, you will get a blank scene here. So we'll click on scene, and here the new scene is created. You can also create this scene inside the scene. So I am deleting this right now. So let's create this inside scene. So you can open this, right click, create scene. So give this name. And then you can open it. So this is my blank scene. You have to arrange the thing. There are a lot of layouts which are available. So most popular layout which are used by the game developer, that is 2x3. So this is right now in a 2x3 layout. And then you can just click on game object. 3D, 2D, all type of games are available. So I am creating a plane. So here the plane is ready. So this is my working area. This is my test area. This is known as the scene window, and this is known as the game window. This particular area is the hierarchy window. Hierarchy window means whatever the components which are available to you on this particular scene. And then this is my project, how my project setup is being done. Then this is my scene window, or the detail window. If you click on this project window, this is a part of the project window. You can open any folder and that will be visible here. Then we have the inspector window. Inspector window, you can also call this as a property window, because all the property related to any of the component will be available in this particular window. So for example, I want to increase the size of this plane. So you can go to the scale and you can scale it. So there are 3 axes. This is my x-axis, this is my y-axis, and this blue one is my z-axis. So we want to increase this by 2 and we want to increase this by 2. So this plane is ready for us. Now you want to have some boundaries above it. So to create the boundaries, I am going to use a cube. So the cube will be at the center. So you can just increase the size of the cube. So let me give a color to it. So let's see, so that we can differentiate between the things. So this is right now having no color, or you can say a white or a by default color is there. So you want to create a color. First of all, you need to create a folder known as material. So you can right click on the assets, you can create, and then you can go to the folder. So folder will be created. You will rename that folder as material, and you will put all the materials here. So how to create a material? You can just simply right click a material, create, and then we have material. You can give it a name. So I'm giving it as a new material. And then this material is having a property known as albedo. So you can just click on this property. And a color palette will open in front of you. So you can choose a color. So I'm choosing a little kind of color. You can also give a metallic look. So you can just check it out and you can increase the metallicity of it. You can also give it smoothness. And there are other properties which are there. Okay. So I'm just using the basic properties so that you can have those. You can just simply pick it up and you can just put it up like this, and it is done. So now this is my cube, so I'm creating the boundaries out of it. So I need to increase the scale. So this is on x-axis. So you will just increase the x-axis by 10. So 10 will not be sufficient. So 20 will work here. And you want it somewhere here. So you want to change the position of this. So you just select it. And this is my z-axis. So on z-axis, you will increase it to, it is set. Then I want the same thing here. So you can just simply right click it, duplicate. So the things is ready. I just need a minus sign because we have started from origin. So it is done. Similarly, I will create another cube. Now this I want to increase in this size. This is my z-axis. So I will increase the z by 30. 30 is too much. So let's have 20. So I'm making it 22 so that the things may be perfect. 21 will also work. And I want it to move on this side. That is my x-axis. So x-axis I will put 10. Similarly, I will duplicate this and I will make it -10. So you can see my scene is ready. Now for this, I am creating another, or I'm just editing this wall. Just drag and drop and the colors will be available to it. So you can see my board is ready. Now I want to create a sphere on this. So game object, or from here only you can do it. And a sphere. We call this as a player. This is too small, we need to increase the size. So I'm just doubling everything. We need to raise it up a little bit. So this is on y-axis, so I raise it to y3 so that it should be above the ground. Now I want to give it a color, so I duplicate this, and let's create a new one. So we give it a player skin. So let me give it a color. So I give it a yellowish kind of color, or let me have a bluish kind of color. And I also embed the metallic into it. I increase the metallicity so that it should look very metallic in nature. And smoothness also. So if you select it and press F, it will focus. Now it is looking like a metal. You can just, and this play area is not set up, so you can just I'm just making it like this. And then I want it to be the same like this. So you go to game object, you just set the main camera, select the main camera, go to game object, and then you can align with the view. So this is my output, so you can just test this output. This is the play button, this is the pause button. So here you can see how it is looking. You can just stop it. Now our main focus will be to move this, and there is one more thing, the wall are very small in size, so let's increase their height also to 3. So that the ball should not run away from it. Now you can see this is the gray part which is not looking good. So let's give it a darkness, or let's make it a space kind of thing. So for that you need to create a skybox. Now the skybox is available in the window. So you can just create a skybox here. Just right click, create a material. We call it as a skybox. Now you have to change this shader. And this is a skybox. So we are going to use a 6-sided skybox. And here you can put a black kind of thing. Everywhere we want some black area so that there should be a darkness. It is your wish what you want to have here. And when my Skybox is ready, I can just drag and down this Skybox like this. Now, because of this darkness, we need to increase the intensity of the directional light. But let's have something else. I have another Skybox. Let's put that Skybox, so that the blue color is visible to us, because we have created it metallic in nature. If you want a darkness kind of thing, then you have to change this material, so that you can do it later on. And now if you want to move this ball, there's a code which I've already written for you. I will just explain this code. This is a ball move code, so you can just drag and drop this code on this. And if you want to check it, you can go to the player, and you can see there is a ball move. So here we are going to add some speed into it. So let's add a speed of 5, and you can just test it out, and you can set the speed whatever speed you like. Nothing wrong. Okay, this ball is not moving. The reason is we have not applied physics into it, so we have to add some more components into it. You can just click on add component. There is something known as physics, and you have to make it a rigid body. But when you make it a rigid body, something happens like this. You can see the ball has started moving. Whenever you apply the rigid bodies, then you have to also take care of the spherical collider. There will be also a collider. You have to just trigger it. So when you make it is triggered, what will happen? The ball will fall down. There is one more property which you need to set. Is kinematics. When you set these kinematics, the things remain without any problem. And then let's go back to the scene, because we have a very few minutes left. So let me go to the original volleyball. This one. So this is the same thing which we have done. Now for this, we have created the coins, and these coins are basically created with the help of a sphere, with the help of a cube. So how you can do that? Let me show you. So if I create a cube here, that is in between, just change the rotation, 45, 45, and 45. And you can see it is looking like same. We'll just delete it. Now it is very difficult to work with single elements separately, so we create a prefab out of it. So here you can see the prefab. So how to create a prefab? First of all, create a single cube, give all the properties to that cube, and then just simply drag this and put this into the prefab folder. You can create the prefab folder by right click into the asset and click on folder. The moment you drag it down, it automatically became a prefab. You need not have to do anything. And then you can delete the original source, and then you can drag and drop from the prefab. So here you can see if I have a coin, I can just drag and drop like this. Now, if you go to the player, let me show you the code first, because there is a single code. On the basis of that code, everything is done. For this, you will be needing a Visual Studio. So if you are not having the Visual Studio, you can install the Visual Studio, that is free of cost, available on internet. So this is the code. So I will just give you a brief review of the code, and then we will end up with this. So these are my variable declaration. If you create something private, that will not be available to the system, means that you cannot see. But if you create something public, you can see here, I have created this public. So because of the public nature, if I select the player, you will see that if I open the code, there is a speech, count text, win text. So this is basically because we have this count text, win text, and count. Okay. And even the speed is also public. So whatever you are going to create public, that will be available there. If it is private, then it will not be available. Then there is a start. Start, always there are three things here. If you see clearly, there is a start, there is a fix update, and there is an on trigger collision. So start here means when your game engine just starts, when you just click on that play button, whatever it should happen. So by default, I'm getting a rigid body. I'm setting the count text to null. I am also setting the win text to null. And then fix update. Fix update is called whenever you are using physics. If you are not using physics, then you can simply use the update function here. These are the predefined functions of Unity. Now in this, if you see very clearly, I'm moving it horizontally and I'm moving it vertically using these two. And with the vector 3 movement, I'm controlling the movement of the ball. And the movement of the ball is controlled by the force. So we are applying some force onto it. So it is basically, it is following the real life principles of physics. So using this, we are actually moving the ball. And then there are a lot of code which you can see. So on trigger collision means, if you see here carefully, this is also having a collider and this is also having a collider. So whenever both the collider collide, this function is fired. On trigger enter collider other. So here we are comparing the tags and then we are making them gone. So whenever you are touching it, it is moving out. And using this function, and we are calling this function again and again. Here you can see we are calling it count text. Here also we are calling it, and we have also called it in the start. This count text is basically counting your score. So this is how you are counting your score. So, and then let's play this once again to end up the session. So my ball is having a collider. My coins are also having the collider. So whenever I touch it, it is entering the on collider and the score is being counted. And whenever we are getting the score equal to 15, we are winning the game. So this is a very simple game, a simple application of Unity. And in this, we have developed a very simple game of rollerball. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for attending this webinar.
Thank you so much, sir, for quite an impactful presentation. You have honored us with your visionary thoughts and such quite a good explanation and demonstration of the software. Thank you so much, sir. And attendees, I'm sure you must have upgraded your skills by the inputs and learning shared by the expert of the day. So with this, we'll conclude our today's webinar. Thank you so much. For this, thank you attendees for sparing time and participating in the webinar. We appreciate you all for being here, and I believe your knowledge has been enriched by the learnings and input shared by the expert. I would like to express my appreciation to the sir for the valuable contribution. Sir, I'm sure your years of research, your years of experience will definitely help the audience to choose the right path. So until next time, I, Ruby, will finally sign off the session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.